It's the Tiny and Katy Show.
Powered by Roots Hair Design in Marion.
Hey, I'm Tiny. Wait a minute, I can't hear a word you're saying. I mean, it's very faint, but
Is this your birthday present?
that's better. Now you're there. Whatever you just did.
Check 1, 2, check. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tiny.
You know, actually, now that I think about this, of all the times for the microphone to have stopped working,
That was actually the perfect moment for that to
was
happen.
the perfect time for that to happen. I'm such an idiot. Anyway,
So the big 4-0, how are you feeling?
I feel great. I feel better than ever.
Yeah.
Life is good. I had a great day on Saturday. It's the first time that in years, and I'm hand to God mean this, that I remembered my birthday. I just always forget. And I remember for two reasons. Number one, it's 40.
40.
And number two, my birthday was on a Saturday, which only happens once every 6 or 7 years. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great. I saw you celebrated with the family and Dave and Mary. I don't know what you guys went to DC? No,
we went to the Gettysburg, the Dobbin House.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, we've eaten there before. That place is really good. Yeah.
And you, however, you were obviously, I asked you what you're doing on Saturday, and somebody had plans to go out of town on her best friend's 40th birthday. So,
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I do have to tell you what happened to me Friday. It was very terrifying, and this has never happened to me before, and I'm still a little shaken up about it.
Did you get the answer to 2 + 2 finally?
The answer to 2 + 2?
You said it never happened to you before. Did you finally get it?
What do you mean?
It's a joke, Katy, as in you've never known 2 + 2.
Oh, I'm like, I don't understand where you're going with
and
this.
Prove my point for me. Next.
That was a pretty lame joke, though, in my defense. On Friday, I went to DC and to visit my best friend Kelly and her husband Dave, and they are known for their amazing, immaculate cooking. They love to cook. They make everything from scratch. They enjoy doing it. They spend all day cooking, and they make these really incredible gourmet meals.
They are really good.
And they're amazing cooks. So Kelly, hands down makes the best breakfast sandwiches I've ever had in my lifetime. And
I've had them. They're good.
She fries the egg, bacon. I mean, there's nothing, I don't want to say special about them because they're amazing, but there's nothing that she does differently. But something about those breakfast sandwiches are just out of this world. But anyway.
Maybe part of it is that you don't have to cook them. Like, as in general, the person doesn't have to cook them.
Absolutely. So Friday her and her husband made prime rib and like au gratin potatoes and broccoli. And I was eating the prime rib, and I don't know if maybe I was too hungry and I was going too fast, but I choked. It choked. It got stuck. It got stuck in my throat and it wasn't moving. And I was like, kind of grabbed my throat like this because I couldn't breathe. And I was trying not to panic because the last thing I know I want to do is panic because it just clenches everything up. And I could feel that there was like a smidge of movement of the meat in my throat. So I thought maybe if I just swallow really hard or, if I don't panic, maybe it will eventually go down. So I grabbed my throat. And Kelly starts freaking out. Like immediately she's freaking out. She's like, oh my God, do I need to do the Heimlich? Now Kelly is 5'4", weighs 100 pounds.
Right.
Like, there's no way she can Heimlich me at all.
Right.
And if I tried to Heimlich her, I would break all of her ribs. And so I stood up and she's like, do you need a Heimlich? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm obviously not talking because I'm choking, but I'm like, I don't know. There's movement. I'm trying to like massage my throat and I'm just walking. I'm like trying to like do anything to get it to go down because I could feel that it wasn't 100% lodged, but it was either not going to come up or it was either going to come up.
Are you able to get breath at all at this point?
No, I can't breathe. No. So
okay.
I'm just like, like making all kinds of motions.
Which no one can understand.
Well, I think Dave didn't panic because I just kept going like this, like, hang on, like I'm working on it. Dave was like, if you were like, then he would have been Heimliching me, but I could feel that it was moving a little bit. So after, I don't know, I mean, the whole thing probably took place for maybe 30 seconds. In my mind, it felt like 5 minutes. And I thought I was I was terrified. Eventually I threw it up. So eventually, I don't know how I got it up enough, if I was like
That's
dry
crazy.
heaving enough and it came out and I was able to dislodge it from my throat and throw it up. But that's never happened to me before. And it really made me think, like, I work with children all the time. And obviously I'm like trained to do these things, but we're trained on dummies, it's very different when you
Right.
have real flesh and a real life in front of you. And I kind of had this like epiphany, like I want to go and get CPR certified and make sure I know how to do the Heimlich, and because it was terrifying. It really was. I mean, I was lucky that I threw it up and I was lucky that there was somebody there, but I mean, I don't know
I'm
if
on the lookout for, I'm so, I don't know how I'm going to say it, sensitive to choking now because of Reagan,
oh
and
yeah.
every little thing you give her is, it's amazing the things, and I don't mean this to be funny at all. It's amazing the things that didn't seem dangerous to us when we were younger and living our lives. But now when you have a kid, I'm sure you deal with it in your own way, being in the school system with your students, but we just are so hyper vigilant now. It's like, oh, wait a minute. I give her that grape. She could inhale
Mhm.
the wrong way. And then what happens? And I understand, look, I get it that it happens, and I still am going to be vigilant no matter what. And then I think to myself, but yet here I am, and Lord knows between her and me, I downed a hell of a lot more food and didn't really care. I just, you can't give me enough.
Yeah. There's a very strict rule in my classroom. The kids are not allowed to be eating anything and walking. And if they're eating anything that's like especially on a stick or a lifesaver, they have to be sitting. Because
Uh,
I am terrified, absolutely
oh,
terrified that one of
it's
my kids
awful.
is going to choke. And I hope that I fight or flight. Like I hope that my adrenaline's going and I'm like, all right, get over here, kid. Let me dislodge whatever in your throat. But I have a feeling there could be a very big part of me that's like, can somebody help me?
Hmm.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just so scared. But yeah, so I
Wow.
choked on prime rib on Friday, and that happened. Um, and that was pretty much the most eventful thing that has happened to me in the last week. Oh,
There's,
oh,
there's,
oh, 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 sorry.
oh, oh,
And
oh,
and
O'Reilly.
no. And the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. That's the other.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
That's right. So that was the other big exciting thing that happened this week.
And
Um,
you either watched this game or the game the weekend before.
but I
Where was that?
last weekend.
So Katie posted this picture, and if
Oh
I
my
can find
gosh,
it, I want to post it up here of
it's
you.
my it's my
It
friend.
was someone's
It's my
theater,
friend
right?
Kirby's. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting you, but my friend from high school married this orthodontist, and he has like 6 or 7 practices, and they have a lot of money.
They're
And
loaded, of
their
course.
house is like 22,000 square feet. When I tell you, I've never seen a house like this. And when I go there, it's a resort. Like I am
Uh-huh.
not going to my friend's house. I'm going to a resort. There's an indoor golf simulator. There's a cigar like area there. The wine is just, I mean, this incredible wine cellar. There's a theater, and a legit theater with 10 like reclining seats, and that's where we watched the game. And then there's an
Wow.
elevator in the house. There's all kinds of in-law suites and rooms. I mean, the house is the most beautiful house I've ever seen. There's an indoor pool, an outdoor pool, there's a sauna, like there's a downstairs kitchen, an upstairs kitchen. The house is insane. And
Right.
so when Bridget said, do you want to go over and watch the game at their house? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to go
course I
watch the
do.
game. It's like, but then I was all mad when I watched the game yesterday. I'm like, oh, stupid small TV. That's not in a movie theater. Like, all mad
What the
about it.
hell's with this 60-inch television here?
I hate
Jeez.
this television. It's so small, but
Well,
yeah.
I would just imagine now looking at this that you would say, "Oh yeah, God, yes, I want to go over there and watch the game." And like Katie sneaks away, and finally somebody's like, "Has anybody seen Katie?" And meanwhile, you're like in the indoor pool, like,
Oh yeah, I've like straight up taken vacations there before, and she
Yeah.
knows it. It is a resort. I mean, you pull up to it, and it's not a house. It's a full blown mansion. Like it is the
Yeah.
most insane house I've ever seen. It's beautiful. I mean, just immaculately beautiful. So we did watch it there last weekend, and then I went to Glory Days last night with a bunch of friends from work, and we watched the game. Now, mind you, when it comes to football, I'm not like a diehard every Sunday watch football, but I always follow the Eagles because my family is like, Philly fans are crazy, like absolutely
Oh God,
crazy.
yes.
And I grew up, not too far outside of Philly. So it was Philly Eagles all the way ever since I was a kid. And in my household, it gets wild and crazy when the Eagles games are on.
Yeah.
Now, I'm heartbroken that I've never actually been to an Eagles game, mostly because they take place on Sundays and I normally have to work on Mondays and I don't get a lot of vacation time. So I haven't actually been to a game, but I always keep up with the Eagles and how they're doing. And I don't want to be like bandwagon-ish because I am always an Eagles fan. That's only the team I cheer for. But once they started doing really good, I'm like, oh, maybe I will start watching more of these games. And And then last night happened and they're going to the Super Bowl. So that was really exciting. My family's going absolutely nuts. Everybody's posting their pictures in Philly because I have a lot of friends that still live in Philly and it just absolutely going insane. So I'm very excited for the game. So those are two very exciting things that happened.
And I have two things. One I'll cover before the break, and then one we'll save for after. That one being big news that you're just gonna. I'm not gonna say you'll go crazy for, but nonetheless you'll probably be somewhat excited or hate me. One of the two.
Oh.
The one though is I'm kind of upset with you.
Okay, go on.
Because you either it was stolen, so you haven't seen it, or didn't get it.
Oh my gosh! Did you send me a tripod? Like in the mail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So there's actually a story behind this. There's a story behind this.
Let me just let everybody know what this is. Okay. The Katy, what you see behind us, just cloth backdrop, and what I have is this. It's like a clothes rack, a rolling clothes rack, a cheapie from Walmart, and I have my the backdrop to that. Now, a lot of this is my fault. I told Katy, I said, look, I have one of these for you. Early on, we started the podcast back in March. So long and short of it is I gave it to her in a couple of different pieces. So it was never really it couldn't stand on its own 2 feet. And it always led to her. She couldn't keep it up.
Like even now, like I'm like,
yes,
I'm like ridiculous. In this little like huddle here.
So I'm like, how can I get her something to where it's easy? It's just a simple pop up. They have to make something that is just this all inclusive, one little like an umbrella type thing or whatever. So I find one, and that was one of her Christmas gifts, more of a functional than anything. So I ordered it right before Christmas. Unfortunately, when she came over, it wasn't here in time. Then they wound up canceling it and saying they just couldn't deliver it. So I thought, well, that actually works out well. I'll order another one, and I'll just have it sent to her house. So I did. They sent me a picture saying, here it is, and I saw it there. And I hadn't heard a word from Katy about it. Not one.
Okay. So this massive Amazon package arrives at my house probably a week ago. And I thought it was my roommate's. So I stood it up because she gets Amazon packages a lot. We both do. And I always know what I'm waiting for. And so this massive Amazon package arrives and I'm like, no, that's not for me because I ordered a book and I knew it wasn't a book in there. So I stood it up. And then like 4 or 5 days went by and I was like, Case, are you ever going to open that Amazon package? And she's like, that's your Amazon package. And I said, I have no idea what's in there, thinking that it's this book that I ordered. And I'm like, my God, they really did some extreme packaging for this.
This must have the Cliff Notes and everything too.
Yeah, right. Like, it's like a full-blown like actions like setup scene when I open it. So I open it and I did notice it was a tripod. And I did think, is this from Tiny? But there was no message. There was no nothing. And so I've been meaning to text you about this. I just opened it like 2 days ago. This just happened. And then I went away for the weekend. Then I almost choked and had my epiphany. And then I forgot about the tripod. So here we are. But yes, thanks for the tripod. I just was like, that's weird that you didn't tell me it was coming. And then for a week, my roommate and I each thought it belonged to the other person. And
I thought you can include a message and I didn't. I thought I don't know if I just assumed that maybe you would
keep going. There's some ruckus happening in the background here. Keep going.
Well, of course, I was talking to Katy as she disappears right now, and it does no good here. I like how she just keep going as I'm talking and directing these comments to her, and she just completely disappears. But anyway, and we're back. I like how you tell me keep going as I was talking to you.
Sorry. Well, that's good. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
That all makes sense. Wait.
But I think what happened was I probably would have assumed that you would obviously it's to you, open it, and then know exactly what it was when you opened it up. And
I also was like, "Where's Tiny to assemble this for me?" This is
there's that.
Reading directions and putting it together, and those are.
When are you going to come do this? You just need to power wash my back deck, you bastard!
Don't even get me started on the power washing because it's 3 years overdone since you're supposed to be power washing. But
is it dirty? Is it still
Of
dirty?
course it's dirty. Yes. That's
Well, God forbid you get your own power washer.
there are just some like household being a homeowner is hard, and
It's awful.
it's fine when everything's going fine, but when
When the
something
hell's
goes
that?
well, I mean, like right now, oh God, I'm not even going to finish that sentence I was about to say. But I have to get my roof done. And this is something I keep putting off because it's like $4,000. And my
Sure.
roof is not a very large roof. It's very small. And it's just like I don't want to deal with all these things. I just don't want to
well, when it comes to the roof, you just want to be able to come out from under this thing.
yeah. Well, yes, that's true.
I mean, I know you got it covered, but still.
I just don't want to deal with it. That's why, like, I can't wait till the day when I'm like married and I'm doing this with somebody else, and it can be a team
No. Not when you're doing it with somebody else. You mean when somebody else is doing it?
Well, I mean, and I'm cheering them on, like, hey, you're doing a great job making those phone calls. You're doing a great job paying those bills. You're doing a great job fixing everything around the house. You are really doing a fabulous job, and I'm excited.
Now,
about
if you
it.
just make me dinner, it would be great.
Yeah, if you could just make me some dinner, then afterwards that would be wonderful. I did want to tell you two things that are one thing that's very exciting.
Well, wait a minute. We gotta wait. We gotta take a little break here, but we are coming back, and I got something massive to tell Katy. She's got some things to say. All coming up on the next half of the Tiny and Katy Show, powered by Roots Hair Design, Route 11 in Marion.
You don't want your hair just cut or styled. Get your hair designed at Roots Hair Design, 5459 Molly Pitcher Highway in Chambersburg, 717-375-2130. How about a women's cut? $32, $35, or $38? Guys, you're not going to get a better price on the cut you're going to receive at Roots Hair Design than $23. Now, if you have a teenager, girl or boy, $25 and $20 respectively. A kid's cut, just $18. Maybe you need your roots touched up. They have that as well. And they can do your nails, take care of your lashes, facial treatments, waxings, and what I plan to get is a massage. Roots Hair Design, 5459 Molly Pitcher Highway in Chambersburg. $10 off your first service to any new guests, and they're approaching their 12th year in business. You don't last that long if you're not doing something, or in their case, a lot of things right. Roots Hair Design, we can't thank them enough for being part of the Tiny and Katy Show. More of the Tiny and Katy Show starts now.
I booked a trip. So in 2 weeks, I go to France. And
parlez-vous français?
So in 2 weeks, I go to France, and I will be there for 5 days. And I'm going to Meursault, which is like wine country. So we're only spending a day in Paris, and then we're really getting into like the wine country part of France. Going to Switzerland for a day. Really excited about that. Did find out that I have to drive the rental car back to the place by myself.
Oh boy. How far of a trip is this? So
originally they told me I was going to have to drive it back to the Paris airport, which is 3.5 hours. And I was like, no, sorry. I don't mean to throw a wrench into everybody's plans, but no, especially alone. My flights.
Oh, no.
No, that's not happening. So they ended up finding a place where I'm going to return it, and it's only like 40 minutes away. And then I have to take the train into Paris, which I'm like, okay, that's a lot better than a 3.5 hour drive. But when that conversation first came out, I really panicked about that.
I've got to be honest with you. I probably would have too. I don't know why I've thought about that a lot lately, of driving in a different country where they drive on the different side of the road. No, they don't.
They don't in France. They do in some parts, like in Ireland. They do Australia, but most places they don't. They don't in France. But it's just I can't read the signs. You know, I don't know what the signs are saying, and if I get lost, I'm screwed, and I just have to rely on my GPS.
Well, don't they also have? They have English on the signs, yeah.
I mean, I don't think so. It's all in like
they would.
No,
like
probably,
here's something, and I know this is going to sound
ignorant.
I don't want to say not ignorant, but like, oh well, of course Americans would think that. But like everything I ever see, no matter what the country is, there's English on on signs, like in the stores and on the roads.
Somewhat. Like when I was in Spain, a little bit, but no. I mean, same thing in Italy. A lot of it's in. A lot of people can speak English, like English is very widely spoken, but some places people don't want to speak English. They think, and you know, rightfully so, you're in my country, you should learn, you know, at least try to learn a little bit of my language.
Maybe it's in the big tourist centers like France and all that would have it. Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm going to be fine. I'm just putting it out in the universe that I'm going to be fine. But the other thing is my best friend Kelly and I booked a trip on yesterday to go to Iceland, and we're going to go see the beluga whale sanctuary in
Oh, my
Iceland,
goodness.
which I've been wanting to do since I was like 10 years old.
And when is this?
This is June 17th. We're going. Where I'm getting this money, I don't know. I don't know where the money's coming from. But listen to how badass Kelly is. Kelly travels all the time for work. I mean, she's always going somewhere. So she has a ton of points because she travels so much.
Yeah.
She used her points and bought my plane ticket to Iceland. Yeah.
Kelly for the win.
Yeah, 100%.
The girl can make a bang and egg sandwich, and she's
can.
paying for a flight.
Yeah, so we booked that trip yesterday. I've been wanting to do that since I was a child. So this is like a lifelong dream come true. It's not only just Iceland, but that beluga whale sanctuary I've been wanting to do for years. So I have two very exciting things coming up. Amongst some other things as well. But anyway, so tell me, why are we all going to be mad at you? Other than that face of yours and looking at it.
Not we're all going to be mad. You probably will be mad.
Oh boy.
So I'm not going to, I'm going to blur out and bleep out when I get to what you would consider the punch of everything here. But I really want to see your response to this. So I'm going to ask you that when I finally hit you with the specifics of it, that I'm going to bleep out, that you not repeat that part of it. Okay. It just makes it easier for me in the post editing. You'll understand why in just a minute. So a few months ago,
I'm already pissed. I'm already pissed off. Like, I'm already mad. I don't even know what's happening, and I'm already mad about it. You are doing something cool that I'm not a part of. Yes, go on.
No.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it, but I don't think so. So a few months ago, online betting, it was around election time, online betting in Maryland became legal. So one of the companies that does one of the fantasy and the online bets, they came to us for an endorsement, and almost every DJ at the radio station now has one of these endorsements.
Oh, I've heard it on the air.
Yeah. So I had made about $500 on these things from original. They give you like $125 in free bets to be able to use. So it got to a few weeks ago, and I had made this $500 plus my original $100 deposit, which I wasn't going to touch that $100. And I thought, you know what? There was this bet that said that every team that played that weekend, and this was the wild card weekend, every team had to have at least one passing touchdown. And if that happened, it was what they call plus. It's kind of like the new way of saying odds. So if you bet this amount, then it pays this amount. So this was plus like 4,000. Doesn't mean $4,000. Just means like 4,000 points. That if I placed the entire $500 on it, that I would win if it hit. So we get to Monday night's game, and it was Tom Brady, who was the last person who had not thrown a touchdown. And of all people, Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, right? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bed. I'm not going to, I don't think I'm going to win it. I might win it, but whatever. Maybe this is just not Tom Brady's night. I go to put the remote control in and turn it off. Next thing I know, he throws a touchdown. And I won.
You're such an ass. I cannot believe that. Are you out of your mind?
I am not.
Do you get all of it?
Yeah. And stop repeating the amount.
Now, how selfish can I be at this moment?
How selfish can you be?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
like, let me first start by saying that's awesome, good for you, and I'm really excited, and I think that's wonderful. But I remember
now, what's in it for you?
Now, I remember back years ago, we both said if we ever won a decent chunk of money, we would somehow divvy it out between the two of us, not evenly, obviously, because I don't.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Not evenly, but like, listen, I'm going on all these trips. Maybe you could spot me a little dough. I can't believe that. That's incredible. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm jealous and all that selfishness. But I think that's amazing. That's great. That's good karma, and you deserve good karma. You're a good person.
Well, what happened?
You're so good of a person that
what?
You're going to help a friend in need who's taking all these vacations that she can't afford.
That's my fault. Because that is certainly my fault.
Like, literally, I don't know what happened to me when 2023 struck. Like, when this year first started, I was like, I'm going to do everything that I want. I want to do it. I'm booking it. I don't care. I'm booking it. I'm going
and figure
to France.
It out later.
I'm going to Germany in April. I'm going to Iceland in June. I am so many thousands of dollars in debt right now from all these, like, I'm just going to do it and live life, and I'm going to put it out in the universe, and I'm going to get all this money. The universe misheard and misunderstood, and you ended up getting the money that I needed for all of my vacations.
It's like, when we get when we get off this podcast, Katie's going to go, all right, Lord, we got to have talk here.
Yeah, we got your wires crossed a little bit.
Something happened where I said, Lord, I need money to pay for my trips, and please bless Tiny. Well, I didn't mean to bless him with my money. Okay, so there's that. So, Lord, let's get this straight here. So, if you need to do something to Tiny to make his bank account like it needs to just get to mine, however,
how do we
make that happen?
How do we fix this situation?
Well, what's interesting
is that the most you've ever won?
It is. It absolutely is.
It's amazing.
And I don't know why, but that bet looks to me, I almost thought they made a mistake because it's the playoff week, the first of the playoff weekend. So these are the best teams, theoretically in football.
Mm-hmm.
So the odds of them a passing touchdown, it seems like every game has a passing touchdown from each team, even in the regular season.
Right.
So I thought, you mean to tell me, but here, the thing is not a lot of people. And again, it was just money that I had won from free money.
You had to bet all of your money on it to get that amount.
Exactly.
Right.
Now I could have bet $20 and made, 400 or whatever.
Yeah.
But the point is that I was willing to just take the whole 500 and be like, you know what? We're going for broke. Who cares? Let's have some fun and then play out the weekend. But so I tell Mary about this and she went ahead and went to bed. I woke her up, obviously.
Yeah.
And I come back and she's like, oh my, and I told her, I said, now look, hon, this is where I pulled a Katy somewhat because Mary is like me. She is not easily led to emotion. And even though she may be excited about something, you're not really going to know it by looking at her. Well, I told her, I said, now look, if this thing hits and you're not excited, I'm going to be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, really, because how often does this happen to somebody? I mean, if it happens I don't know about it. Certainly first time it happened to me / us since it's been with Mary. Anyway, so I come back in the bedroom. She's like, oh my goodness, hon, that's so great. That's so great. She's like, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I'm going to have to put X amount back for taxes because obviously they're going to tax the hell out of me. And
Katie's
then whatever.
Get this,
Katy needs has her trips and, has, her medical ailments and stuff that apparently is going to take, most all of it. At least that's what she tells me. So of course, have to help her out. And, her cat is just ridiculous. Yeah. But, the next day, what did Mary do? Marched us right into Lowe's. Right in there. Had a project in mind. I mean, she literally. You remember Christmas Vacation when Eddie and Clark are walking through.
He comes
says,
out with a.
Yeah, he's like, I got this whole list, alphabetized. That's kind of what it was. Well, here's the plan, and schematics just go across the table like Kevin in Home Alone. Like, oh, okay. Well, we got plans for this money. So I've been spending the last 2.5 weeks working on this built-in project in the living room, and then as soon as that's finished, moving on to the bedroom. So that money that I won is gone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I still think that's wonderful. That you deserve some good karma. That's exactly what that is. Still waiting on mine. So we'll see what happens there. But good for you.
Hey,
Tiny.
Look, my blessing is your blessing, right? So I think that you will take away from this the joy that filled my heart when it happened. And you'll be like, you know what, Lord, that was good. That was good enough. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
That's where I want the wealth to go. Yes. Absolutely. You're right.
And the hits just keep on coming. Well, and then Nashville in March. I mean, come on. What are you going to do?
Yeah. So here I am choking and dying on prime rib. Well, Tiny wins. We had very different weekends. That's for sure.
All right. Hey, we're out here. Sorry it took us a couple weeks to get with you on a podcast. I'm not going to go into any detail about it, but I did have some stuff going on on the personal end. But hey, we're back at it, and we will talk to you again in a week.